it's the Family and Values, and you're back on Galaxy Television. That is where your Family and Values is being hosted, okay? Family and Value is all about you, like we said. And today we are coming from a perspective that has to do with the men. Okay, RD Trauma Care Foundation has always been part of Family and Values. They have a clinical platforms for psychologists who will help when it comes to anything that has to do with mental health. In as much as today is not Thursday, we decided to bring him today because we actually want to reach out to all men out there. Now, last year they had their first men advocacy and awareness on their mental health. And today, by this Saturday, 20th of September, they'll be having another platform whereby they'll be pushing out another advocacy relating to men and their vulnerability and what they need to do. Don't shy away, men. Please come closer. We love you. We want you to read.
Okay.
You know, the way I open some platforms and you see why men don't last, why men don't live long. That thing they hunt you.
Yes.
It hunts because it's not just about the women. What will the women do without the men? And what can the men do without the women? It all boils down to the two of us working together, making sure while this was down, this one is the one standing, is helping the one who is down. Just like I just said yesterday, God mentioned that you know this is the flaw of this person. This person has this flaws. Why not help it? Why not do this? So this morning we're really pushing out to the men, and we have someone from RD Trauma Care Foundation, a person of Adejeji Odusoya, who will be talking to us. Basically, we'll be asking questions regarding embracing vulnerability. Why that thing? Why are you looking at the vulnerability of men? Why would they want to talk more about that? What have they seen? What has taken them through that toll? And they'll be having the second episode, like I told you, on Saturday, 20th of September, and it will give us all that information. But to the business of the day, we're looking at embracing vulnerability. And it's a big one on vulnerability.
Good morning, everybody, and listeners out there. I greet everybody, and I'm happy to be here this morning speaking about mental health, which we can't talk about enough. So I believe that as we dive down into the issue of today, a lot of things will be unraveled to the benefit of everybody.
Okay, to the benefit of everybody, and most especially men.
Yes.
Because that's where you want to focus on.
Exactly.
Please, men, don't die on us.
Please.
Who will be helping us to hammer the chair and then climbing the table? Even though some women, we do it.
Do it.
But we need you. You have to be there. That father figure must be available in every family. And so, Adedeji, I want to ask, what's the meaning of embracing vulnerability? What does vulnerability really mean in the context of family and the value that comes with this? You know, this family value. So what is the basic thing we need to look out for when we're looking at vulnerability?
Thank you very much. When we talk about vulnerability, many people don't understand that vulnerability is a gift of nature that we need when we get to the domain of healing. When we are conscious and we are going about our normal daily activities, we shoulder up with issues out there, challenges out there. But whenever we get broken and we need to heal, vulnerability is the key ingredient that will drive us to the domain of healing. But if it is not there, if we cannot achieve that vulnerability, healing will be very far-fetched. So, and men out there, we go through a lot, family challenges here and there. But because of the way men are trained, they've learned that whenever they get vulnerable, it shatters their sense of status, their sense of respect. And so they run away from it. And that do a lot of damage to their psyche. And when that happens, if it continues unchecked, I tell people that if the mental health of men are not critically looked into, in the nearest future, the world should be bracing up for global role reversal because of the attendant consequences attached to men showing up, building up the firewall of their ego against being vulnerable to drive them to the domain of healing.
But there's a question I really want to ask as regards vulnerability. According to what you said, vulnerability is like the foundation to healing, or what you should accept to embrace healing. But for some men, it is very hard to put yourself in the position of being vulnerable. Most times they are out of fear, or them being putting up their defense, trying to be a man. But we don't see it that way. I'm going to speak for a lot of women out there that we want our men to be vulnerable, to show how able they are to be vulnerable, because to us, it makes us be there for you when you need us. It makes us stand in gap for you in the exact position you want us to be. It makes us understand you more. And coming to emotions and affection, it makes us feel very comfortable. It makes us feel that you really want this to work out. So how do we make men feel comfortable to be vulnerable? How do we make them feel safe? That's the word. To be safe around us, to be able to see that part of them.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, to make men feel safe around us, it's deep. And the key part of it is orientation.
Oh.
Yes, orientation. We must continue to orientate men that vulnerability can coexist with strength. In fact, the core aspect of resilience is drawing strength from vulnerability. And of course, I was telling some people last week that it is men's program, but women too can attend. Whether you are married or about to marry. Because when you marry, you also be stared in the face with the reality of what we are talking about. So women are part of this advocacy and orientation that you being vulnerable is okay. It's not against or in tangent with strength.
Okay, being vulnerable is very important and it's key. And then as much as possible, we know that vulnerability talks about when you're being open, being honest, willing, ready to embrace, and people take it like your weakness. You're too open, you talk about yourself, you do let them know where you keep this, and then they just start to like keep it to themselves. How long can you lock yourself in? That's what we're talking about. Locking yourself in. You need to find a way to, a little, maybe not too much, but at least a little. Let's go for our webinar now, or something like that. That's the best place. Vulnerability is the best place where you have innovation, creativity, and you can also explore. And if your mouth is, all closed up, how can someone know what is there to tell you? So you just need to explore. You need to bring out everything inside of you. This is where I wish everyone celebrating today, the 17th day in the month of September, a happy birthday celebration. Those who have anniversaries, will continue to bless your relationship. As Blair, happy birthday to you, as continue to have another year and beautiful things we wish you. Now, whatever you let constantly occupy your mind can eventually become a part of your reality. Whatever you allow to occupy your mind can become your reality. So be positive in your positivity, even when you are home. One day you just eat it. You don't need to do your own. You don't need to go for that, killing somebody, taking someone's blood to walk in your freedom. So we'll continue with our discussion, embracing vulnerability. And we also have our clinical psychologist here, Mr. BKG. And I want to ask, how can parents help their children, to develop and grow? Because sometimes trauma, childhood experience.
Exactly.
Oh, my friend betrayed me when we were in secondary school. And before you know it,
You defense.
there's this wall, you just build it, and just like you go to some areas, you see their wall so big, that will not stop another thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But to really help you when you have a wall that people can easily see what and where and things are happening. So how can parents help their children?
Okay, thank you very much. This is simple, and I love the question because currently parenting is becoming a challenge globally, because we have many young, emancipated adults finding their way into marital setting unprepared. And that really affects the children. So first of all, for parents to help the children, they need to invest in time with the children. Because children are so curious. They go out, because when they were born, Carl Jung said, children are born mind tabula rasa, meaning that their mind is blank like slate, both positive and the negative aspects. But when they come in contact with the environment, they begin to experience some kind of shock that are making them to be more curious. And this gives them some beliefs that they need to validate. And the first point of contact for the children is the parents. So they look up to the parents to validate those beliefs. Mommy, I saw this. This is what I experienced in school. Rather than for parents to follow through, they even castigate and shout them down. So when children are able to get their feelings, emotion validated within the domain of the family, they don't look outside for validation. But when contrary is what is happening, children that go out there, rather than get their feelings, emotion, beliefs validated, they now get exposed to dangers, vices, drug, and various sexual vices out there. So, and they get hurt the more. And invariably, indirectly, that now make them to be at distance with the family, because in rival to the family, they are seeing another family out there, because when family was supposed to be there, family was not there.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question regarding to what you said. So for men that are no longer under the care of their parents, young adults or already grown men that have already passed the stage of their parents trying to mold their emotional capacity or build up their emotional capacity, what would such men do? Because I feel like this topic should really, really be addressed, because the level of being absent when it comes to vulnerability has affected so many relationships and marriages. It has really affected. When you want someone to be really there for you, or you want to be really there for someone, they're not giving you the chance to be there for them because they have built up that defense, and it makes you feel like they are not penetrable. And that has no relation to do with love, biblically and by research and all of that. So what would these men do? Do they have to go through therapy? Do they need to go through some exercises? Do they need to talk to someone? What are the things they need to do to put them on track to avoid future problems?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very good question. And in fact, I would say those kind of men can be in two categories.
Okay.
The unmarried and the married.
Yeah.
Yes. So when we have those in the category of unmarried, yes. Because if perhaps while they are young, the parents are not there for them, and a lot of damages have been done due to them also have been vulnerable, but they are not. Yes. It will continue, there will be a carryover effect of that challenge into subsequent relationships.
Yeah.
So while they are preparing for marriage, they will have been seeing traces, having interpersonal challenges with opposite sex.
Yeah.
Those kind of men can begin to seek therapy, talk to a therapist to help them do the damage control, help them uncover or probe into the root cause of whatever the interpersonal challenges they are experiencing. Because most of them, once they do internal check, they will notice that, oh, if I experience breakup in a relationship, it's largely due to my fault, not the fault of the other person. And if that is not checked, perhaps they slide into marriage. It will also be a carryover effect into marriage. But before they slide into marriage, it is an advice for them. That is what we call premarital counseling.
Yeah.
Most of those issues can be trapped and addressed at that level. Because when I talk about premarital counseling, we have some pseudo premarital counseling that are done in churches. But I'm talking about premarital counseling done by professionals, experts, clinical psychologists, that we do proper personality assessments of the two people that are trying to come into, marital, domain. And at that point, if the therapist, is sensitive enough, we'll be able to uncover the potential challenges that if they slide into marriage with it, they are potent enough to bring about dysfunction in that marriage. At that level, those issues can be resolved. Those issues can be sorted. The necessary treatment can be done. Because it takes somebody to let you know that you have this flaw with evidence before you believe. And once you have that awareness, healing is easy. So I think that is what men should begin to look into right now, because most of us, we can be a product of circumstance, not due to fault of ours. So of course, therapy is a platform whereby you will not be judged, whereby you'll be free to express yourself, and whereby you'll be free to ventilate your feeling. And when you are able to ventilate your feeling, a professional will be able to validate it. And once it is validated, then healing is certain.
Healing is certain. Now, this will take me to hiding your emotions in a relationship. What are the dangers? What are the dangers?
There are lots. There are a lot of dangers. Okay, so health-wise, there are a lot of dangers. Because when you hide your emotion, you don't express it. It means that you worry more. You worry alone. And most of this worry we are talking about, worry is different from brainstorming.
Yeah.
So when you now worry unnecessarily, we call it unproductive worry. And it puts pressure on your cardiovascular system, whereby you pump blood through your artery more than necessary. And that can lead to cardiovascular challenges like hypertension, cardiac arrest, and all of that.
Now, to the common man, a woman in the market watching us now have lots of galactic information. I want you to break that down, and communicate it in a low key kind of cardiovascular.
Yeah, when you are repressing your feeling, you are not speaking up, talking to the next person around you for them to probably give you the necessary advice that will relax your mood. You will bottle up most of those things. And when you bottle up most of those things, that means that you will be thinking alone. You will be you will be breathing, taking deep breaths unnecessarily. And when that happens, it's putting pressure on your body system. And that means that worry unnecessarily will bring a load of stress on you. And that can lead to hypertension. That is why if you go to hospital and you tell them that you are having headache and all of that, they test you, they don't say anything. They will tell you, what are you thinking? And of course, the default response is that I'm not thinking about anything. But you don't need to know that you are thinking about something before thinking takes place. So that is what people should understand. That is one of the dangers. Then secondly, when you worry too much, it puts loads on your mental state. When I ask people that, do you smoke? Do you drink? They will tell me no. But I found that they are worrying unnecessarily. I will tell them that you are psychologically smoking. Because when you worry unproductively, that is the psychological version of physical smoking.
Yeah.
Because when you enjoy smoking, you use it to cope. You also enjoy worrying and you are using it to cope. So, and when there is mental load on you, your brain can break down. How does it break down? Perhaps if that person has been predisposed to experiencing mental health in life, which is not automatic by predisposition, but by the time you now worry and you get stressed, that can trigger those predispositions. You find that the person is now sliding further into depression. Because worry will reduce your positive energies. And you get to a point we call the point of psychological equilibrium. Once you slide below it, that means that you begin to experience symptoms.
How do you have a sense of knowing that you are that equilibrium of walking into lowest side of your mental personality that you're sliding into depression? What are those signs?
Yeah, when you begin to worry and you begin to notice traces of things like you don't want to talk to people, you don't see the positive side of things any longer. You don't even see possibility of solution to what you are passing through. You don't even see it as, you don't even deem it fate that if you can just talk to somebody, there can just be a relief, not to talk of solution. Yes. So the person is already at almost the breaking point.
So adding to what you said, I feel like not being vulnerable or not being capable of being vulnerable runs deeper than we see it. Aside from affecting your physical self, it affects you emotionally. And there's risk of passing down the same trauma to your children. Then it now becomes a generational thing. It starts happening over and over again. That's when you see grown adults now. They will tell you, why do I have to talk to my wife about this? When I was growing up, my dad never gave room for my mom to talk to him, never told her about things that disturbed his mind. He would just go out and sit and talk with his friends or just bottle it up and vent, transfer of aggression. That's another way of reacting to not being vulnerable. When you bottle things up too much and it becomes too much to handle, you pass out aggression. So how would I put this question? First off, how are men going to be able to identify these traits? Because most of them out there, they are not even aware that they don't have the ability to be vulnerable. They feel they are just being men. And in this part of the world, they feel like being a man is being a macho man, manning up, not being too tough. But that is not being a man. The truth is, a real man is in his vulnerability. A man that has the ability to be vulnerable is a real man. That is his strength. But they don't know these things. So can you tell them the trait or traces of being invulnerable? Okay. Yes, and possible solutions.
Thank you very much. Let me just take it from this point. Now, I was talking about domain of healing. Yes. That is within our mind. Because we have structure of the mind. We have unconscious, we have preconscious, and we have unconscious. That unconscious is always there, but it drives our behavior, whether positive or whether negative. So anything we do, whether it is positive, the energy is coming from the unconscious. Because, for instance, if I'm doing something seamlessly, that means that seamless thing that I'm doing is part of me. It's not controlled by my consciousness.
Yeah.
It is unconscious that is driving it. Same thing with negative behaviors. The bed of their energy is the unconscious. So men need to understand that what drives them is the unconscious, and what synonymous to the domain of unconscious is vulnerability. Because if you are not vulnerable, you will not be able to knock off. The power that can knock off the consciousness is vulnerability. So if you don't knock it off, you won't be able to access that domain. So as a therapist, if I want to induce healing in my clients, I need to make them vulnerable.
Yeah.
So that I'll be able to access, because most of the issues that are causing the problem are within that domain. And if I cannot access it, I won't be able to get them out. So that is the first level of orientation that men should begin to have, that vulnerability is synonymous to strength. And perhaps if they build up the wall of their ego, there's no how they can access it. And the behavioral fallout of that will be what you have just said. They will be throwing tantrum, they will be irritable, they will be experiencing, they will be doling out anger of aggression as a way of coping, because they don't want to speak up and it is burning them inside. So those things are just signals, red flag, that, oh, there's something burning this person underneath. Why they are doing that? Children, they learn by modeling.
Yes.
So as you are doing that unconsciously, children are seeing it as a way of life. Right. My dad shouted on my mom this morning. That is how a man should shout on their wife. That is your orientation a boy child will carry into the subsequent stages of life. And you can imagine if that boy child begin to have, fiancé, the kind of orientation he will use to interrelate with such. And if, conversely, that fiancé is coming from a well brought up, intact family, it will be a shock to her. And it can end up damaging the life of the partner. So it can be a carryover effect. It is background attachment. If it is not checked from the aspect of the parent, they don't check themselves, they end up passing it on to the children.
Oh. Before I ask my final question, I want us to update us all that where is this Ivory Trauma Foundation? Where is your office? What is your phone line? And then you have a toll-free line.
Yes.
In case anyone will have need for your services. Is it free? Which of the clinical, to what extent? I know you have the one that is free and the one that, of course, you have to pay through. Can you just take us through that?
Okay, first of all, our services are absolutely free. We don't collect a dime, because the ideas that give birth to Arrogate Trauma Care Foundation does not accommodate business. So whatever we do within our capacity is free of charge. So we have our office located at number 9 Olayemi Adela Street, off Salvation, Okwebi, Lagos. So for those that want to do physical therapy, you can just reach out to us and book. Then we also do online telephonic counseling, psychotherapy, through our dedicated toll-free line. which is, I will call it now, 080 0001 00020. I'll call it again. 080 000 1 00020.
You got that? I'm sure you got it.
Mm-hmm.
After your 080, you have 000. Okay? Then you have 1. You have another 000. And you end it with 20. Go back home. It's a tough line. You can talk for hours. You can, talk and try to walk you into processes by which you can help yourself mentally. Now, the program that is coming up on Saturday, what are you expecting? How far have you planned it? What is all ground for people to come Wednesday? What time is it?
Yeah, thank you very much. The program is on Saturday, September 20th, and is fixed for 11 a.m. Yes, and the planning is already in top gear. And of course, we are bringing in personality of note in the domain of mental health. First of all, we are bringing in Dr. Charles Ume. That is the National Association of Clinical Psychology President, Lagos chapter, the president. We are bringing in. Then we're also bringing in another consultant clinical psychologist from Yaba Neuropsychiatric Hospital. They are coming to deal with this issue more than what I've said today. Then we're also, it's going to be fun, not entirely, or the venue is Yoruba Tennis Club.
Okay.
At Onekan, Ikoyi.
So big now. Yeah. Wow. Last time we had it somewhere around there. Okay. That's good. Is there any movement? Is there any way? Did you make any provision for anyone? Is there anything like that? That's in provision to move them. Onekan is on the island.
Yes, on the island, so, just by the TBS.
Anything for people who might want to go for the care job?
No, there is no provision. There's no provision because it's very easy, so they can use ourselves.
So they are giving it to you free. I think that's too.
Yeah,
they are bringing it to you free. I know one thing about me, Nigerians, people generally, whatever is brought to us free, we tend to take it for granted. We don't embrace it. We don't put our heart to it. Your mental health goes a long way. It's very important. It is your life. Your mental health is your life. That is what will help you to be able to think. We just told is the birth of innovation, that place of innovation and creativity. And it will help you to expand your horizon. When you're mentally okay, you know how to do with that your wife that is giving you issue. Or that your boss that is swallowing you and you know that you are going through house rent palava with your landlord. There's a way you can always manage things when you're mentally in the right state of mind. And that's a chef. You know what? I was watching a video of the incidents yesterday, and I cannot watch it. It's even on our news and platform. I can't. So, it helps when you know something like this. I don't want trouble. I don't want anybody to beat me and mark my body. Will you want to stay where there's trouble? Or you see someone shouting unnecessarily. You should know when this makes you disrespected. Let me know because this kind of person catch you, will deal with you, trash you, let's try themselves. But my follow-up question as we go and very quickly, just 2 minutes, is how can vulnerability lead to emotional healing? I just told, just said something dramatized, someone who is psychologically not well now. How can vulnerability also lead to emotional healing? Can it?
Of course.
Possible? So
absolutely.
Just 2 minutes.
Okay, so vulnerability, just like I said, is synonymous to the domain of unconscious. And that is where healing can be induced. When men experience significant life events, which are negative, they help their brain not to remember. And they tend to think that they are forgotten, but they have not forgotten. What simply happened is that they repress it into the unconscious. And once those issues are repressed, they are like issues that are swept under the carpet. They are there like shovel, knife, cutlasses, and all of that. Because those significant life events, they are painful. So they got transported through the pipeline of pain into the place. And to get them out, they need to pass through that symbol of pain, which could be like crying, sweating. So, yes. So, for instance, like if you want to like induce healing, you can do what we call forgiveness therapy. And when you do it the way we ask you to do it. At some point, it will make you to betray your emotion, your feeling. You tend to cry. And when you cry, you shed tears. Those issues, because you can't be conscious, have your ego, firewall of your ego built up and you will cry. But the moment you begin to shed tears, those issues from the unconscious, they come out with sweat, they come out with tears. And that person will notice that the moment that is done, they get relieved. Because naturally they will now notice that they can now experience emotion the way other people are experiencing emotion. So if they don't get to the point of vulnerability, healing will be very, very difficult to achieve.
Wow, healing will be very difficult to achieve. Let's say
yes, yes, I have a question. There's this means of relieving your frustration and healing. They call it the rage room. You're a therapist, so I don't know. Does it help at all? Does it help? Because you mentioned yes.
It doesn't totally help.
All right. So as we round up, I want to say big thank you for being here, and please join them at Yoruba
Tennis
Club on the island in Ikoyi on Saturday, 20th September 2025, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's all about the name and embracing vulnerability. Be vulnerable, embrace it, hold on to it. Don't be too stiff. Your wife needs to know what's going through your mind. Your partner needs to know. Your nearest, closest friend needs to know. Yeah, of course, when you have been betrayed, but there are some areas you can actually open up to. You will not forget this. Everything is true. The benefits of friendship and family. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Your very best on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
Keep us posted.
Definitely.